All right, starting again. Hi there, it's Adrian, your friendly neighborhood tinker, and today I'm here to talk to you about drums. Drums have been around since very early in our history. At first, they were used just logs that you beat on with sticks. Then they found out that if you tip the log up on its side and you cover the opening with an animal skin, it makes an even better sound. Now, drums have been used for many things throughout the ages and have been on all continents. Some of the things that drums are used for, they're used to communicate. They are used for religious ceremonies. They are used for entertainment. And they are used to keep the military in step. Today, we will talk about how drums are made. First of all, the thing that used to be a log is now called the shell. This one is made out of wood, but other types of material are used like clear acrylic and other materials. You can use just about anything that creates an open cavity. Then instead of stretching an animal skin across the top, nowadays they have plastic drum heads that you can hit with a stick. This is called the batter head. Next, the thing that holds the head on is called the rim. And it is held on with these nuts. And this particular type of drum is called a snare drum. And it has a mechanism on the bottom that looks like a series of springs that gives it that special drum sound. So today, the drum that we're going to make is called a tom-tom. It's played by holding it in your hands and going back and forth. This particular style of drum can be found still in many different cultures, including throughout the Americas, in India, as well as in Japan and other places in Asia. Now, your kit that you got comes with a few things that you need to make it. 2 cards for your batter heads, your drum shell, your handle, 2 pieces of string, and 2 beads. If you didn't get a kit, or if you've lost part of your kit, you can use almost any material that's a little stiff like cardboard or paper. You can use an old tape roll. An empty ribbon spool works as well. If your drum shell does not have any holes in it, you'll need to put a hole at 3, 9, and at 6. And I'll tell you what these will be for as we go. So the first thing you'll want to do is take your drum shell and place it on the piece of cardboard that is going to be your drum head. Then with a pencil, you want to trace around the outside. I know sometimes you want to trace around the inside, but if you do that, your drum head will be too small for the shell. Then, after you've got your circle, take a pair of scissors and cut it out. You don't have to worry about being too exact, but you should try and stay as close to the line as you can until you have a round drum head. Then you can either decorate it or you can wait until the end to decorate it. But if you don't want to decorate it now, just put it aside, and you'll want to repeat the same process with the other piece of cardboard, which will go on the other side of your drum. The next thing you'll do is you'll take a piece of string and one of the beads, and you'll thread the string through the bead and tie it on. There's a few ways you can do this. You can either wrap it around the bead and tie it with a couple of knots so that it's secure. That's one way. Another way is to thread it through the bead and tie a few knots onto the end. You can see that I tied my knot too small so it pulls through. But you can either continue to make your knot bigger and bigger until it doesn't pull through anymore. The other way you can attach your bead, there we go, that knot doesn't pull through. The other way you can attach your bead is to put a little dot of hot glue on this end. If you're using a hot glue gun, you just put a little dab of hot glue right there, and then it'll keep the bead from pulling through. So once you have your 2 beads on strings, The next thing you want to do is get your shell, and the 2 holes on the side at 3 and 9 are for the beads. So thread your string from the outside to the inside. Now, this bead only has to be long enough to get to the center of the circle. So you pull it back until the string is short enough that the bead goes to the center of the circle, like so. Then you can make another knot that won't pull through, or you can take a little dab of hot glue and glue it in place. Remember that hot glue is hot, and you should do it under the supervision of an adult if you've never used it before. So then after you get the one glued in, you repeat that process on the other side, remembering the bead should come to about the middle of the circle. And then once again, on the inside of the drum shell, put a little dab of hot glue so that the string won't pull out. Once you get that done, if you like, you can trim off your strings. The next step is to take your stick and put it in the hole that's at the 6 o'clock position. If you can just twist it in, that's sufficient. Sometimes you might want to use a pencil sharpener to put a little point on the end of the stick, and it'll go in easier. If you like, you can put a little dab of hot glue so it'll stay, but it usually isn't necessary. If you lose your stick, a good replacement is a pencil. They work very well. Now the last step is to glue on your drum head. Now if you haven't decorated it, you can decorate it now, or you can glue it on. Just put a little hot glue around the rim, and then take your drum head and place it on top and apply a little pressure, and it should look something like this. Then you do the same thing on the back. Make sure that you're done with your strings and your stick before you put on the drum head. Otherwise, you won't be able to get to them once you've put on the second drum head. So you apply a little glue, just like that, and you put on the second drum head, and voila, you have a tom-tom. And there you have it. Don't forget to check out our website, imaginationstationtoledo.org, for more activities. And I will see you next time.